Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Dungeon Speak podcast, a D&D campaign based on Greek mythology. My name is Todd, and I'll be the DM for this adventure. Now the players will say hello themselves.
Hello, I'm Macy, and I will be playing Aldora, the ASMR cleric.
I'm Dylan. I play Andrak, the reborn fighter.
Hello, my name is Becca, and I play Kiriki.
Hello, I'm Kevin, and I play Malachi.
Hello, my name is Cooper, and I play a mystery character.
There are some spells that are pretty cool, and then there's some that I consider game-changing. And one of those, Tyr has done before, a character that was in the campaign. And there was a giant purple worm that burrowed through the ground, and it was supposed to be a fight that was all over the place, through tunnels, being up and down, vertical, horizontal. It was supposed to be really cool. And Tyr polymorphed it into a turtle and set it in the treasure room while they collected the treasure and then just left it there. And that is one way to beat a rather difficult encounter, but it's also a little bit sad at the same time. But polymorph is a very awesome spell that would be super useful. I don't know if you guys remember, and pretty much anybody mid-90s would remember, Animorphs. It was a book series that came out, and then they made a TV show right after it, where these kids got the abilities from aliens to turn into animals. And if anybody read or watched those, that would be a really good inspiration. But I was thinking about things that we would want to turn into. So picking one animal, any beast, that we could polymorph into, I went with a cat, which is ironic because I don't like cats. But like a small feline, like a house-sized cat, I think they're quick, they're agile, they can get pretty much anywhere, they can climb pretty much anything. And even if you're captured, you're treated like a fucking king. But that's my pick. T-Rex? No. Cat, all the way. What about you guys?
I personally would love to transform into a giant spider just to harass people.
Like a giant spider, like what's the giant there? Like, what's the size of the giant spider we're talking about?
You know that giant ass spider from Harry Potter?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh god,
Oh,
yes.
no.
Maybe not as that big, but like one of his little like underlings, you know, the abnormal size. Let's say it's like German Shepherd size giant spider.
Okay, yeah.
So big enough to get in the house, but also big enough to kill you.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You know what? I dig it. That's cool.
Terrifying and cool.
I mean, like, I'd have one.
Honestly,
Sounds
yeah.
like a fun time.
I'd also have
Yeah.
a pet giant spider. I'd probably not live very long, but I would have one.
That's accurate.
I'm just gonna go out here into the left field a little bit. I'm going with I'm gonna try and pronounce this the correct way. I looked it up. Quetzalcoatlus.
I don't know if you said that right or not. Good
Me either.
job.
But for those who don't know, it is a beast according to D&D 5e, and it's a giant dinosaur, pterosaur kind of thing. In actual history, in the real world, it's one of, if not the largest of the flying dinosaurs. And if you look up the picture that they have of it for D&D specifically, it just looks like a goofy little guy, you know? And I wanted to pick something that could fly, because if there's one thing that I would choose to do, polymorphing into anything, it would be something that could fly. And I figured, why not choose something that's just big, kind of terrifying, kind of silly, and also very powerful. So yeah, that's my pick. And if we're ignoring dinosaurs, then I'd just go with the goose, because geese are also terrifying and can fly. So
I just wanted to pause on your pick real quick to say that this thing is way too OP for its CR. If it dives at you, it does 66 damage as a CR2. Like, what the fuck?
And it doesn't take opportunity attacks when it flies away.
Yeah, so it'll come by, beat the fuck out of you, and then just fuck off.
Yeah.
It's the best way
That's
to do
fucked
it.
up.
But the picture really sold me on it because I was looking through the beasts and I clicked on it because I was like, first of all, what the hell is this name, Quetzalcoatlus? And then I looked at the picture and I was like, oh yeah, that's me. That's me right there. I'm that bird,
Wait.
dinosaur thing.
Quetzalcoatlus.
Ah, there we go. Quetzalcoatlus. I was close.
Yeah.
It's funny because
That's a weird name.
I was tossed between that and being a giant spider and a crow, because crows are just silly, goofy little guys.
Yeah, and they give little shiny treats and shiny gifts to people they like, and they can be trained really well.
Exactly. Not to mention, people
Hey.
would just be trying to train me, and I'd get shiny objects.
Don't
Cats
crows.
live-
I wish people gave me
Shit.
shiny objects. That would be nice.
I know.
Don't crows have like the intelligence of like a 6-year-old child or something like that?
I think so. Something
that
along
true?
those lines.
It's like 3 or 5 years old. It's something close to 6. It could be 6, but yeah, they're very smart.
Here,
So,
let me show you
my
what
choice-
I'm looking at.
So for my choice, I chose a fiend, and it's going to be controversial, but I chose a space clown.
Okay.
But
Where did you find that?
that's from Spelljammer.
Oh.
They're space clowns. They are little clown pirates that sail the astral plane. But they're clowns, and I know people are scared of clowns, but I actually got my master's degree at clown school, so I might be a little biased because I have studied professional clowning. But I think
So-
a space clown would be really fun.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, just
So,
be a little goofy
what
guy
is-
sailing the sea.
This is the token for the space clown, I want you to know. In Boo's Astral Menagerie.
It's beautiful.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't want to be as scary as that. I would be a sweet little space clown. I would be a chaotic, good
Hey.
little space clown.
The picture Todd posted, I can't tell if this is in fact a clown or just a member of KISS who decided to dress a little bit more flamboyantly.
Yeah, so it is a clown in like a tan, I want to say almost prison outfit type stripe. And he has a red cowboy hat on. Like a
Yeah,
stylish
and
cowboy hat.
they take this drug called Thrill Joy that's distilled from demonic ichor and the bozo flower. And
Bozo flower.
yeah, so if there was a bozo flower in real life, that would be the bouquet I would want at my wedding as well.
The hat this character is wearing is 100% stolen from Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe you know who that is.
But yeah, they're little mischief
Grew up on that
makers.
shit.
They're little mischief makers in space. Who wouldn't want to be that?
Jeez. That is amazing. Dylan would pick something ridiculous.
Dylan, you're thinking too much about it. Dylan would pick a duck.
Oh, it's true.
Yep, Dylan would pick a duck.
Macy would pick
Yeah.
something scary. No, I don't want to say scary, but like maybe something large.
That's true.
I think
She seems fond of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. She'd probably pick that.
Yeah, that's true.
maybe, yeah.
Ethan, should it actually costume him up?
Also, didn't she pick T-Rex as an answer to another animal-based question on this podcast at one point?
Actually, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
She's
Logic
a little
dictates.
person. She wants to be a big animal.
Big enough to
All right.
suplex Dylan.
Yeah, for real. Okay, let's apply more of this intro into a fucking episode.
Ew.
But fuck yourself.
Hi, my name is Dylan. You're listening to the Dungeon Speak podcast.
A group of strangers, all heroes or champions in their own way, came together for their own reasons and sailed from Troy across the Aegean Sea to the land of Asphaltis. There, they met up with Aldora and her blue lizard mount that is about 15 feet tall and 17,000 pounds. From there, they traveled south around the Pagasetic Gulf, where Jason and the Argonauts launched their ship from, and along the shore through Thermopylae. There, they found only death and a few supplies. The group continued southwest, crossing over the mountain pass known as Halamus. They came across 2 Cyclops and an old woman. It was a tense meeting at first, but everyone walked away peacefully enough. After that, the troop moved south, east, and back north around the mountains and into Delphi. Rumors and stories had started to erupt that were mostly true. The group found a she-serpent named Delphine, the same creature Apollo had imprisoned centuries ago. They killed her, and Andrak barbecued her remains. After finding no living people, but finding recent signs of life, they traveled east. They found a group of humans losing to demons. Shortly after trying to save them and killing the demons, they met Pallas, who was fleeing from a dark creature that gave off a dark aura. Letting her rest, the party went in and killed the demon, retrieving a map and information. They started traveling with Pallas, and trust isn't a large commodity, but they had the same goals. After a little more eastward movement, they came to an encampment where people were being held, and the dark creatures were trying to breed humans like cattle. The champions freed the humans and killed the demons, with Hera showing up to bless them herself. They led the freed humans to a safe shelter underground in a trade town and tried a demonic scroll. It summoned a flying creature who carried Kiriki away to a dark cave infested with demons, but it was also a temple of Hades. Kiriki brought the party with her, and they killed the demons and started their way in. Malachi found a mask that was not working properly. It transported them to a place where the previous wearer had committed many murders. It was a curse that was crafted by Hades. After stopping the murders from happening any further, the champions came back to their world, and the souls were put to peace. After continuing, the party found another mask. They were transported to Orlandia, and wore the attire of an Athena-adjacent uniform. They were tasked to watch over the mother of a missing child. The woman proved to be difficult. Her brash attitude clashed with Kiriki, and Kiriki had to practice self-control. The rest of the party is very skeptical of her. Malachi has caught up with her, and her story is getting mixed up. Andrak and Aldora recently investigated a room at the Aegean Heights where the child's nanny supposedly lived, and no one had lived there for a long time. Malachi found out that the woman dropped off her kid, in theory, so that she could have a tryst with her boyfriend before leaving town for work. Kiriki made the woman grovel with blood magic. You guys started in a rich and vibrant side of this large and colorful city, and the parents' red villa, traveled down to the smaller homes, and now are in the house for students at the local academy. You guys are in the room of a student. Books are all over, and it looks disorganized. Antonius is there, acting awkward, but innocent. Then he is fairly open with his questions, or with his answers. Cassandras is there, and irritating. What would you like to do?
Okay, well, so we have determined that this lady, if I remember the end of the last session, we left off with her giving us a weird vibe, like something was going on with her mind that wasn't exactly under her control. Is that correct?
That is the avenue that Kiriki and... that Andrak and Aldora were going down.
Okay. So I want to start the session with an insight check on her myself.
I have to admit something to you, and I started to say something last time. But every time you guys have failed an insight check, it's gotten a little bit harder because y'all have incited her probably about 30 times. So unless it's about something like specific, okay. I know, but unless it's like specific, like she's doing something different, then it's going to be a higher DC. Because if you're just like, I want to see if she's lying, well, you've done that like 10 times. So, but it's like
she's also been groveling. So,
Yeah, I actually did not do that very well because the spell accidentally, like, Cure Keys was like a force you into a begging position where I had her act like it was the command spell. So that was my bad. I probably shouldn't have had her express her. What did I think? I think she said that she was basically a piece of shit who leached off her parents and other people.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, I don't think I needed to do that, but it's
She
out
admitted
there.
what we already knew. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I'll give it a shot. Who knows? Maybe I'll do something really cool. I only got a +1 to my insight anyways, so it's
Okay,
probably not
yeah.
gonna super go well for me.
So what are you inciting?
Yeah, so first of all, I rolled a 6, so not gonna get much, but Malachi, as she is, confessing all of her, for lack of a better term, sins, I guess, to us, and talking about, how she's failed as a person and as a mother and all that bullshit. Malachi wants to glean whether or not she is nefarious, like if she's actually intending to be evil, or if she's just like actually a dumb, shitty person.
Kiriki, how long does the grobble last?
Hold. I gotta go dig it through and find it again.
Okay.
Oh shit. Look at that.
Okay, it seems to only last a turn.
Oh,
It doesn't give a lot of specifics. It just
That's
keeps
okay.
mentioning a turn.
all right. So she'll pick herself up, Malachi, and she'll like brush herself off, and then she'll like look around. Her face is red. She is embarrassed because she's better than everyone, of course. And then she kind of sticks her nose back up in the air, and she just glares down at you. And you've probably met distinguished people before, and then people who think they're distinguished, and you're pretty sure that she doesn't seem like the person who is actually evil. She just is a bitch.
Okay.
By definition.
He figured as much, but never hurts to double check yourself.
That's fair.
Malachi is going to kind of fold his arms and look at her, look at the boyfriend, and Antonius, you said his name was?
Yeah, I'll go over that real quick, just as like a recap kind of thing. So he was like I don't want to go heavy set, mostly an average type frame. Light-skinned guy. He's got brown hair, brown eyes. Looks, he's got kind of a goofy look about him, like pointy nose, kind of round chin. But he doesn't really look like anything special, like ever at all. And then she has green eyes, brown hair, kind of long, about to the middle of her back, a little bit past her shoulders. His hair shortcut. She has light skin. She just is a spoiled, bratty daughter, from what you guys can tell so far. I don't know if y'all have gotten his age. I think we mentioned
in school. I don't know how that works in the older, generation. If it's like he could be 20 or he could be 50 kind of thing. But does he look at a glance like he's still pretty young?
Yeah. So they both look around the age of 20.
Okay. Yeah. Malachi is kind of at a loss. Malachi looks at her. Well, you've had your moments of telling us who you really are. If you're going to continue this facade of being someone more important than you really are, then I'm afraid we're at a rather dead end on finding your daughter. If you really care about her, I feel like you should probably be a little bit more cooperative, don't you think?
She rolls her eyes and then just kind of like crosses her arms in front of her and then cocks her hips and looks at you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen women do it. And she just glares at you. You are supposed to be finding my daughter. Why do you want me to help you? Because I came here to have a sweet time with my adorable boyfriend. Wasn't really sure what descriptor to use there, but landed on one.
You can sugarcoat it with fine words all you want. He came here to fuck this man, and you left your child in the care of someone you barely knew to do so.
So go find her and stop treating me like this.
Except it's your fault. You made a
Nothing.
mistake, and now you fix it.
That's what your job is. That's why you get paid.
Yes, and at the very least, you can also help to fix your own mistakes.
Okay, fine. I'll help. Where would you like to go?
What's the next location? She's going to turn to Malachi while asking.
This was our lead. We don't have a next location. He kind of looks at the mother again.
They came and
Recount
picked me up from here.
Who?
Your people. They came and picked me up from here after the cart was found that I was borrowing from my dad.
Where was the cart found?
It was found in the woods. It was stolen. I was here with him. We were enjoying some local herbs. And somebody stole the cart. And then your people, okay, y'all found it. Y'all decided to go take it to my dad, who then had you people come get me from my happy place of being here with him.
It was then that you found out your daughter was missing.
Yes.
You took the cart to the nanny's house, correct?
No, yes.
Can I insight that last yes?
Which yes, sorry.
Both. You know what?
Okay,
Those
insight
sounded
check.
suspicious.
Which yes?
I'll go with the first one. 'Cause
Okay.
Never mind. I am bad at this.
This is going so well. 8. You're not really sure, but she seemed really certain with that yes, so probably.
Can I
Because
make,
yes.
an intelligence check? Because Kiriki is way smarter than me.
What's
And
your
would have
goal
a-
with it?
To have a better understanding of where to go next. Like, what would be the next point that we should follow?
I was actually going to say we should see if we could figure out where the cart was left in the woods and investigate around that area.
Okay, then we should do that.
Because
That's a
that's
good
new
idea.
information. We did not know beforehand that the cart was found abandoned in the woods somewhere after being stolen. So
Yeah, so you guys initially knew that there was a cart that was found, and then it was discovered that a daughter was missing, and then you guys were sent to babysit the mother of the daughter, and now it's turned into this. I know it's gotten really out of hand.
let's return. He kind of bites his tongue on using an expletive that is unnecessary. Woman, back to her home and investigate where the cart was found in the woods. She's obviously no more use to us.
Antonius just kind of slinks back in his chair, and then she flicks her hair, and then walks out the door, and then she goes, "You can call me beautiful if you want," and then she walks out.
I would never.
He looks at Antonius. You should get out of this while you have the chance, kid.
Thanks.
Keep poisonous people out of your life. It'll be easier. And,
He just, like,
and
pulls his
Malachi will
book.
walk away after that.
All right.
So,
Everybody's
yeah,
going?
We're gonna head back to her father's villa or whatever it is, and drop the bitch off because she's no more use than a fucking shovel at this point.
Okay.
And yeah,
So y'all drop her off and then go to where the wagon was found?
yeah, we would probably just ask some of the other investigators, the other guardsmen who are looking into this, where the cart was found, and then head that way.
Okay. They'll tell you, and you head down the street, and in the pathway in front of her parents' house, their big red villa, it goes two ways, but it dead ends to the right as you come out of their like little house, it dead ends into kind of a woodsy area where it gets kind of like a tropical area. It's thick trees. There's a little river in there. Everybody knows about it. It's a river that feeds the town, but it's pretty nice. And then to the left is where the cart is. And you go down that street, you cross another one, and then it's like off in the brush. There's like a group of trees there between buildings that's decently close to the large marketplace. But you can see it's wrecked up a little bit there, and there's quite a few of the guards around it. And it looks like they are separating things, and they have like packs of leather on the ground with little powders in it, and little pieces of the cart that they've cut off and separated using different types of tools. And it looks like they cut the cart in a way to where there's a stain in the middle. Like, think of a plank of wood, and there's a stain on the plank of wood, and then they cut on 6 inches on each side of the stain. Mm-hmm. And they have that, and they have those separated on pieces of leather on the ground. And as you walk up, they're just like, don't step in it, don't step in it, don't get close, don't fuck it up. But otherwise, it's okay.
Malachi will look to somebody who seems to know what they're doing here. What's the situation around the cart? What have you found?
Some serious detective voice. Okay. You see a guy stand up, and he pulls off sunglasses as he looks at you. We have a mystery.
Wow! Dun,
Dun, dun, dun. No, just some older guy. He's walking around, and he's like, "Hello there. We have a mystery on our hands, real quick here, but we do have a problem."
What is that?
The problem here is that some of these powders here and some of these stains, they're reminiscent of a corpse, you know?
Do you have a estimated time of the death?
Oh, we're working on that, but well, we're not really that equipped. We're not really that knowledgeable with things like this, you know? We're a big town.
You haven't found any parts, any body parts. Excuse me.
No, not yet. We have just the stains here and the remnants of them, but no body parts themselves, not in the cart. But you could definitely, you could smell it. You go over that piece of wood over there, and you take a big whiff, and it's just like, oh golly, we're just, you know, we're a city. We're city guards. We're not used to this, you know. We're just not equipped for this kind of thing. This is really creepy, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Kiriki's gonna walk towards the cart.
Yeah. Like the biggest piece of it, or some pieces that they have cut off, or...
To where they specifically were talking about where the body was.
Okay, yeah. There's like a grouping on the ground where it's a lot of it's close together, pulled apart a little bit to look like a jigsaw, but it's mostly all together. And yeah, as you get close, you can kind of smell it. It does smell like the remnants of a corpse.
Mm-hmm.
How long has the kid been missing? Do we know?
31 days.
Oh.
Okay.
Why did I think it was less? So no corpse was found, just the remnants of, or the stench of it?
Yes.
Okay, Kiriki's.
But it was...
If we tell Kiriki to sniff it out, girl, would we get stabbed?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, just had to ask.
That's insulting, and she doesn't take well to insults.
Malachi will use gentler terms. Kiriki, are you able to glean anything from old blood?
Ooh.
I can try.
I think that's going to be our best lead. If you can maybe find some kind of information, if not a trail to follow, I think that's going to be our best option here.
Let me look at my things and see if I am able to.
While she's actually looking into that, Malachi is going to do an investigation around the area.
Yeah, I was about to see if I can make an investigation check.
Anybody can do anything you want.
Do you want to... Okay, I was like, probably give one of the other the help action, but...
Help action. Grant it to whoever wants it.
I think it's a little late. Okay. It's like we both rolled. It might be a little late for that.
Yeah.
You haven't said your role.
I was wondering if I was gonna still be able to roll, like, just to investigate myself.
Andrak, why don't you give help to Aldora?
Sure.
Okay. Because I think if I'm right... Oh, nope, never mind. My investigation ain't that well, but I can try it.
But it doesn't have to be an investigation. You can do whatever you want. They'll just...
Okay.
You'll get different information from different
She can
checks.
perceive real good.
I was about to say, I'd imagine your perception's a bit better.
Yeah.
So a perception check would probably be best.
With advantage.
Kevin, you're not playing. Malachi, how did you do?
Malachi got a 19 on an investigation check.
Nice. Kiriki?
Kiriki is very distracted by the smell. She got a 8.
Becca, can I ask you to do me a favor?
Sure.
Will you do a history check for me real quick?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. Macy, Aldora, how did you do?
I got a 23.
A 23. 23 what?
Perception.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Malachi,
Yar.
what are you trying to figure out with this investigation check? Because 19's pretty good.
He would have been, after saying that to Kiriki, he would have been looking around the actual outskirts of the cart itself for tracks, bloodstains, anything that would lead them in a direction.
You see no bloodstains and no tracks, but it was just found a couple of days ago, and you don't know how long it's been here.
Right.
So, I mean, pretty much anything could have happened, but there are no bloodstains or anything like that. So, you don't think anything violent happened here.
Okay.
Aldora, 23 perception.
E.
The stain is small. The remnants are small on the wood. So you think that it was either maybe a small animal or something small like that. But it was most likely carried in the cart. And nothing happened to it in the cart. Kiriki.
My history check was a 25.
Your investigation was shit. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
But, like you said, you're distracted. Kiriki's distracted. Because this place that she's in, and these bodies, while they have familiar features of who you are, it's not you. But there's some things that you just really don't forget, especially over a long time of living. And when you're hungry, the smell is almost like a sweet chocolate in the air. It's a smell that it's like good and sweet food.
Mm-hmm.
Kiriki is very familiar with the smell of that blood and that stain. So what do y'all want to do?
So Malachi's doing his investigation, but he's waiting for Kiriki because he did kind of ask her to look into it. So he's just kind of meandering about the scene, looking for doing his investigation check silently.
It's Kiriki won't reply because she definitely looks like like her body language shifts a little bit, almost to be slightly feral. Like she hunches a little more, and her hands are like twitching, and like she's not replying. She's just smelling.
With my 11 passive insight, I'm probably not going to notice that. Anybody else?
No, that's normal Kiriki behavior, Tandrak.
After a few minutes, Malachi will kind of return back to the rest of the group. I'm not seeing any tracks or bloodstains leading outside of this area. Garricky, did you find anything of note in your investigation?
It's familiar.
Familiar? What do you mean?
Yeah, Todd, I'm trying to figure out what you mean by familiar as well.
I haven't decided if I want to say what it is out loud.
Could you just message it to me?
I guess I could.
And then I can word it.
That, you know what? Sometimes you're right.
Mhm.
Okay?
Oh.
I know, it's weird, huh? I love it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Kiriki.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you want everybody to know around you.
Mm-hmm.
And for people listening, I have muted everybody so nobody's going to know what the fuck I'm saying. Kiriki smells human blood.
Mm-hmm.
So, she could be biased because of what's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows that smell. Because it tastes good. I don't know about as good as a fucking dragon, but she's familiar with it. I'm going to mute everybody now.
You should probably know that the smell, this blood, it is human.
Okay. So we can rule out some of the less obvious but more possible theories, such as a small game or animal being hunted. This is maybe a long shot, but can you tell by the scent of the blood whether or not this human that was bleeding is an adult or a child?
I feel like that's not plausible.
I mean, Eldora's perception check might be able to lend a hand there.
Yeah.
It's obvious that the body was moved over here. It wasn't. They weren't. Whatever died here didn't die where it is, or in that spot. It was murdered and then moved.
So it could be too late to save the child, but finding the child is still a prerogative. So
Yeah.
he turns back to the person he was talking to earlier, the investigator, whoever it was. Were you able to discern where the cart was stolen from and which direction it may have come from?
Oh, by the way, my name is Officer Clifford.
Great. Officer Clifford.
2 F's. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh no, we weren't really able to determine that because the road's really traveled. There's too much traffic to really get that going, you know. But we could tell with our advanced team that it came to a sudden halt when it hit the tree.
Hit the tree.
Yeah, it hit the tree and it stopped there, you know.
Was there any sign of wounded or injured animals, horses? Obviously, the cart did not pull itself.
There were no horses attached to the cart when we arrived on the scene.
Unfortunately, it's been too long for me to determine any tracks leading away, animal or otherwise, so we don't really have a direction to go in. Perhaps we should perform a sweep of the area. Start looking around.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize we had somebody up and coming. Have I met you before? I don't remember you.
Malika stares at him blankly for a prolonged amount of time, and then just turns around and kind of walks away from him.
Huh. What a strange fella. Yeah, that one there. Oh, for sure.
He'll rejoin the party. Let's spread out, see if we can see anything else in the surrounding area that may lead us to figure out which direction the person who was driving this cart fled in. How close was this area of the woods to the city? We did not travel far from the villa, did we?
No, only a few hundred feet or so.
Okay. I'm curious to know what everybody thinks about a theory that I'm wondering. Is there any belief or suspicion that the child has already returned home in one way or another?
That is cryptic.
Let me put it into more plain words. I fear as though perhaps the child was injured or killed, and then somebody related to the child perhaps discovered this and attempted to bring the child home, but it was too late. They crashed the cart here in the woods and then returned to the villa. It's slightly far flung, and there's not much evidence to indicate any of that. It is simply a gut suspicion.
I believe they would have said something. Regardless of the state of the body, they should have already stated that they found it.
Let me posit to you an idea. The grandparents were distraught. Obviously, they wanted the child found. The mother is uninterested, to say the least. Seemingly, she cares about the child, but not enough to be of use to our investigation, and is under the impression that the nanny and all of that was a completely acceptable course of action. Perhaps the grandparents disagreed. Perhaps it was too late for the child by the time that they found her, and wanted to put on the appearance of an investigation in order to seek justice for the grandchild on the mother for negligence.
We did not find any information about a nanny. It seemed that this individual was fabricated.
We have no indication that the nanny is a false person. We do not know if the nanny is real or not.
We have no indication that she's real either. Her home
No.
was empty. Nobody recognized her.
Do we have a clear timeline of the events? Because we know the child has been missing for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the mother hired a nanny.
Quote unquote.
Yes. And then left the nanny with left the child with the nanny,
Mhm.
and then went to her boyfriend's house. How long was she with her boyfriend, or did they find they immediately was the next day?
Everything was considered 31 days ago. 31 days ago, she dropped the child off with the nanny. 31 days ago, she stayed with her boyfriend, and then she was gotten a few days ago from his house after the cart was found. And it took 3 days for the guards to figure out whose cart it was and get the parents before the parents demanded that the guards go get her.
So the child was supposedly left in the care of the nanny for like 25 days-ish?
Yes.
Were they aware that their daughter was in town, or did they think she was gone?
The parents thought the daughter was gone.
And then they discovered the cart, and then they went and received the daughter.
Yes.
The daughter was with the boyfriend for 25 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of this hasn't been clarified before, but that's stuff that you could just ask a guard that's next to you. That I'm kind of just hand waving the roleplay of it.
In my experience, would I know how quickly a body decomposes? Rough estimate.
I would say Kiriki knows for sure.
I would probably also have that information, to be honest.
Yeah, do you want us to roll history, medicine?
Kiriki can do it with advantage. I almost want to say Malachi can, but Malachi usually comes in at the butt end of it. So maybe not.
I'm just,
Okay.
working under the premise that I am an agent of the god of death.
Yeah. Kiriki, go ahead and roll it with advantage. Malachi, if you do it, I guess do it just straight roll because you usually just come in at the butt end of it. So she's
I rolled the
weird.
same thing twice. Oh my god.
What'd you get?
17.
And I got a 15.
Both history or nature or
History.
okay.
I used medicine.
Okay. So you both know it depends on when and where. The climate makes the difference. In or out of the sun makes a difference. In or out of the shade makes a difference. In or out of water makes a difference. Like, there's way too many variables to say for sure it's this amount of time. However, if she is exposed to the elements, sorry, there's presumptions there. If the body is exposed to the elements, then it will decay faster. If it is in a dark and cold place, it will decay slower. If it is in a place where animals are, I mean, there's pretty much no chance that it would even get the chance to decompose. So, does that answer your question, or do you need more?
Right. Have we investigated wider from the area? Kiriki's gonna look at Odora. Have we checked to see if anything was buried nearby?
That I haven't checked that yet, but I can go and start doing that now.
Okay. Kiriki will help Aldora try to find the body, see if anything had been buried within the last month.
Just around the cart?
I want to give 30 feet away from the cart.
Okay.
Like a 30-foot circumference, like a circle.
Okay.
Area scan.
Yeah.
And Andrak will go 30 feet away from them to cover a different area.
All right. So you guys basically create a giant circumference around the cart and then do some scans. Roll for scan.
I'm giving Aldora the help action.
That is a great idea. Because Aldora sees all. But only if she rolls. Oh. Aldora, how'd you do?
21 perception.
21. All right. Andrak, how'd you do?
14.
Acrobatics or what?
Perception.
All right.
'Cause acrobatics would have been worse.
You do a flip and you hear a crunch. Son of a bitch. No. Unfortunately, both of you don't come up with anything. There's no recent movement of dirt or soft dirt where something's been recently buried.
We may need to scan further out.
That was my suggestion. Let's just fan out. We don't really have a way of talking with each other at a distance, but I suppose just shout loudly if you find something.
All right.
How far out and how long do you want to keep this up?
I think Malachi would search probably. It's been a long time, but the cart was found recently. Is there any suggestion that this area would be patrolled often enough that the cart would have been found much sooner if it had been there much sooner?
I mean, it's well traveled, but it's also a little bit dense of trees right here. So unless somebody was specifically looking for it, then they wouldn't have seen it. A lot of people who come across this road right here are going to and from the market in carts to carry stuff. So a lot of times people aren't walking, so they don't really take the time to look around and see.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I'm just trying to establish whether or not the cart itself would have been in this area for a most of that 25 days, or if it would have been dropped off here right before they found it.
Y'all have done. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Y'all have done a lot of good checks. So I'm gonna say you can talk amongst yourselves to realize that the cart has probably been here for around a month because weather and dirt has grown up a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit.
Okay. Then Malachi would probably search out probably about 500 feet, and then kind of, if he doesn't turn up anything within that span, he'll just kind of cone out from where they are and look around in the general 500-foot vicinity around in a general direction. Is there any way? This is a weird pull, but could I do a nature check to try and determine what a likely path would be if somebody were trying to, say, just get farther from the city as much as possible? If I were to crash this cart into a tree and I'm panicked, I have a body in my cart, my first thought is I need to get as far away from the city as I can. What direction would they go in? He's going to want to go that way.
Oh, probably north out of the city. Going up that way, there's dense forests to the north. It does get a little bit cold, but I mean, if you're trying to take a corpse and hide, that would be the place to go.
Then that's where he's going to start.
All right. So Malachi heads out north.
I don't know what the rest of y'all are doing.
And Drake's gonna start sweeping the area, trying going in outward semicircle, starting from where it started and going out slowly
How long does Andrak keep that up?
until everybody decides that they're done with this.
Kiriki will follow Malachi.
Okay.
Aldora will go, I guess, east. About around the same. About 500.
So you're going further away from the villa, kind of more towards the marketplace.
Mm,
I mean, it's not exactly a bad idea.
yeah. I could try that.
Alright. So... I'm sorry?
I was just going to ask what we're rolling, if we are.
You could try rolling survival or perception or maybe nature. Depends on what you're trying to glean from this. Are you looking for someone, looking for burial? What you looking for?
I'm gonna go with survival to see if I can pick up any unusual looking mounds.
Just take what I'm good at.
I think I will probably just... can I do an investigation check?
What do you want to investigate? Do you want to investigate the woods? The trees
Yeah,
to see if they're nefarious?
I mean, literally, he's going to venture into this general direction. The investigation itself is he's searching the... I guess that would be... it's more of a nature check, actually, now that I think about it, or a survival check. He's going to be looking for disruption of the woods, broken branches, moved foliage, stamped down bushes, stuff like that. So I'll say survival.
Alrighty, go ahead and roll survival.
I'll help with that.
Okay. So I'm rolling with advantage then?
Yes, sir.
You're not helpful. Thank you.
Damn.
I rolled a 20, modified 20.
Alright. So you get to the north side of town, and you're looking at the trees, you're looking at the grass, you're looking at the brush. You could see guards are posted up outside of town. They're watching you, and they're watching the road, and they seem decently vigilant. So if somebody did come this way, they probably would see, but you don't really see a lot of disturbances in the woods. It just doesn't really seem that well traveled. Most people will stick to the road. This is a very, very city folk type area.
Mm-hmm. What about Andrak and Aldora?
I got a 12 survival.
12 survival. Looking for mounds of dirt, correct?
So yeah, pretty much. Mounds of dirt, anything disturbed or unusual looking.
There is a house decently close where you can see a whole bunch of small little mounds of dirt, but it looks like it's just somebody planting tomatoes wrong. And
sorry, I like that it's wrong.
Get tomatoes here.
yeah, it's a foreign food. That's why they don't know how to plant tomatoes. But So other than that, though, you don't really see any mounds of dirt or fresh dirt. Aldora, what did you roll?
18 perception.
All right. You're going through the marketplace and you don't see anybody skeptical. I mean, you see a lot of like salesmen, so they're all skeptical and they're all liars, but it's fine. You're aware. But people do pay respect as a guard, especially walking amongst the people here, the crowd of the marketplace. They'll move out of your way, bow down in respect with like their heads, like a nod.
Aldora is just gonna return to the cart when she doesn't see anything that's suspicious or anything that stands out.
While Kiriki and Malachi are away from the rest of the party, Malachi's going to look at Kiriki. I want to know, Kiriki, your opinions on this entire situation. Don't hold back. Just tell me exactly what you think.
Well, from what we've seen, I generally think the mother has done it. There's no nanny. No one had lived in that place for more than a month. And while her daughter was with a nanny when she was supposed to be out of town, she was fraternizing with her boyfriend instead of going off to where she was supposed to be for almost a month.
Well, I suppose it's just difficult because if we're wrong, the spirits won't be put at rest. And if we're right, then they will, and all of this extra thinking has been for naught. I'm not a trained investigator. I kill people on their deathbed. This isn't something I'm used to.
My thing is where is the body? The cart has been crashed here for the last month or so, which means they found the cart, and there was signs of decomposition in the cart that they have been taking apart. So where did the body go?
Kiriki.
Hmm?
Do you remember earlier you asked me about rolling an intelligence check?
Yeah.
You want to do that now?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I do. I had to make sure I had something first, just in case. Ooh, 14.
Do it.
What?
Do it. Use your inspiration.
Okay. It's probably gonna be worse. I guarantee it's gonna be worse. I don't have that kind of luck. Yeah, 6.
You
Wow.
doomed yourself with that. That was manifest.
You're so bad. You know what? I pressured you into it. You can have it back if you'd like. And it was
All
a
right.
waste.
Alright, 14.
Okay. So you say that, and you're thinking of the places you've seen. You're thinking of the places you've been. The silly little boy at school with his crappy room. He looked decently book smart, not very common sense. You think that he couldn't have really helped her because there's just not a lot upstairs outside of a book. And he just mostly got high and had sex with the lady. The so-called nanny, Adora, critically noticed that the little small building or room that she was supposed to be staying in hadn't been stayed in for the last 6 months. Nobody had been in there for the last 6 months. But there wasn't anything disturbed either. Andrak and Adora both noticed that. So there wasn't anything hidden there. By the cart, everybody searched very hard. Nobody turned up anything. And so you're just thinking about it. The house, it's got all those guards moving in and out of it, trying to find things. There's no way that anything's there and nobody would notice. But, and I say but often, but this time I'm going to put a hard B on this one. But, as you walked out of the house to go to the cart, after dropping the explicit lady off, you looked to your right before you looked to your left. And you went left to come down the street to go to the cart. Do you remember what was to the right?
I don't, but Kiriki does.
Yeah, she does. It's a small tropical area with the river, with kind of a swamp type environment as you get closer to the river in the dark, humid area.
Kiriki will spin and look at Malachi. We must go back to the house.
Okay.
Don't forget your partners.
The other two.
He motions to her to lead the way because she's obviously onto something and he hasn't caught on yet what it is.
What is it, boy?
What do you smell, Kirky?
Once they get Aldora and Andrak, she'll explain what has come to her. She also kept saying that it is close. She's close nearby. I can feel her. I can feel it or something along those lines.
Okay, let's go investigate. What did you say? The other direction? Some kind of marshlands?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they head towards there.
All right. Did y'all get Andrak and Aldora first?
Yeah, Eldora was already waiting at the cart.
Yeah, we probably
them.
we probably went back to the cart and waited for them to show up and then took off from there.
All right, so all four of you, hurry and get back to the house. And do you stop to get the girl, or do you just keep going?
I don't want her around.
That's fair. What, you didn't like her?
Not really.
Keep
She's
going for now.
All right, you guys go into the bog, the mire, the moor, the quagmire, if you will. You go into some fucking trees.
I might even go so far as to say the Everglades.
You get there and you do see it is kind of dark under all these trees. The brush is thicker. There's long grass. You can see dead leaves. This place is not... Once you get past the first visual sight of 10 feet or so, it's not really that well taken care of. There are dead leaves on the ground. There's tall grass. The trees create like a thick and dense foliage to where the sun doesn't really penetrate the closer you do get to the river. The river is clean, though. It is taken care of both in the north and the south side as it moves through the town. But it is a little bit muddy here. So you get to this river in kind of this marshy swamp type environment. How do you want to do this?
Kirky, you're the one who led us here. You have a lead. What do we do now?
Okay, we'll do the same thing that we did in the forest here. Look for places that have been undisturbed recently.
Look for places that have been undisturbed.
Or disturbed recently, sorry.
You find undisturbed everything.
Alright, I will investigate the area.
Survival check.
Survival, investigation. Malachi, Aldora.
I'll do this investigation as well.
Perception.
Alright.
It's the most thing I'm good at.
You are very good at it. Andrak, how'd you do?
24.
Oh, shit. Okay. Aldora?
I got a 20.
Okay. Kiriki?
22.
And Malachi.
7.
Wow, dude.
I tried. That's
Everybody did
what's important.
so good, and then...
Malachi gets trampled by Andrak running past.
Malachi's irritated. This whole thing has taken way too much brain power. He just gets there and he stands in the middle of the swamp like, okay, what next?
Everybody does this in a different way. Aldora kind of just walks along the side of the river, slowly scanning as she walks, looking at the mud, looking at the grass, looking at everything, looking for bent and broken leaves, looking for branches that have been broken, just walking and scanning. Kiriki is standing kind of opposite of the river and looking towards the town and looking up and trying to basically triangulate a good place for somebody to bury a body to where they won't be seen, they won't be noticed, and it won't be found. So she's kind of trying to figure that out. While Andrak is stepping on different spots, trying to feel the density of the mud, density of the dirt. He's looking for grass that's also been bent over, and he's touching it, feeling it, seeing if anything's new. Any grass has been regrown recently. And you all figure out almost decently at the same time, Andrak, then Kiriki, then Aldora, you find a spot where it does look like something was recently buried.
Hands in the dirt, start digging.
Is it small?
It feels small. Andrak, after digging only a very short amount of time, you feel a blanket. Like the regular material of a blanket. Bundled up.
Uncover it and start pulling it out.
Alright. It is a little over 3 feet long. It is about a foot wide. And you pull it out of the dirt. Or pull it out of the mud. It smells
Unwrap that shit.
terrible.
Welcome back to a brand new unboxing video.
God.
This is not one that anybody wants to be on. Aldora, I'm going to hit you up with the stank is something you don't want to be nearby. Just because Aldora is Aldora, I would say she would have to probably back up a few feet. Kiriki doesn't even like the smell of this. This is disgusting. It is wretched. But Andrak, being the emotion of this robot,
What do you mean? He's just a man.
Malachi will also approach.
I think we all know exactly what this is. Like all of
I
the
don't-
characters.
I don't want to go into detail about what you find, but you do unwrap what looks like a body of a child.
Well, I suppose that solves what happened to the missing child. At least we have something to return to the grandparents.
It allows them to bury the child in the proper manner.
Kiriki, I believe you may be right. It's looking more and more like perhaps the mother did in fact do this. If I were to piece together the information we have, I would suggest perhaps she took the child away. Perhaps either killed or neglected the child enough that it died anyways. And then got rid of it and went to hide out with the boyfriend.
Someone
Just-
to be an alibi to cover her tracks.
It's my best guess. There's not many other situations that could have happened. We've already established there was likely no nanny ever, so. Although the mother did make a very avid point to mention the nanny often to a great many people to facilitate there potentially being a person.
We should probably get going. Let's go ahead and find the grandparents.
Here. And Malachi is going to does he have a cape or something like that in his guard uniform?
Yeah, you're wearing a blue one.
Yeah. He pulls off the cape and hands it to Andrak. Wrap the body in something that's not soaked in swamp mud.
Okay. Andrak will use the cloak given to him and swaddle the corpse.
It won't hide the scent, but at least it can present something a little bit less disheartening. Soften the blow, perhaps somewhat.
All right. So you guys carry her back to the grandparents. And everybody notices, mostly because it's weird that you'd be carrying something like that wrapped up, but it's also because it still gives off a very, very strong odor.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody within probably 30 to 50 feet of you would smell it despite it being wrapped up in yo nasty sweat. Do you take it inside their house?
No.
No, I'd suggest we,
Get them out here.
have Andrak just kind of either lay it in the street or hang on to it if he's comfortable with that while one of us goes in and retrieves the all associated parties, the mother as well as the two grandparents, and the guard captain as well.
So the captain was outside. He stays out there so he can coordinate between all the teams that are doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a table set up out there, like a tent, and he's just under there directing people and trying to. His whole thing was finding the child, so he's coordinating between search parties and like a small team investigating different things. But his focus was finding the child. So
Malachi, as we approach, would probably motion for Andrak to set the body down in or nearby that tent, and then approach the guard captain and just let him know that we found the child.
He kind of stops talking. He's like, "Are you serious? You found the child? Where is she? Her mother will be thrilled. Her grandparents will be so happy."
Malachi hangs his head. We found what's left of the child.
Oh my god.
I don't know if you should get the mom.
No.
The mom must know.
He certainly should get the mother. She needs to see this.
The guard captain nods to one of the men and they run off. And you see the grandparents come out. And the grandmother's crying. And then she sees the little bundle and she starts crying again. Like harder. And you see the younger lady come out. The one who's about 20 years old with red hair. She comes out. And you see tears forming down her face. But she looks at the bundle. And then looks around. And then just kind of stands there, looking at the parents, looking at the bundle, looking at the guards, looking at y'all, just looking around. And then she just kind of stares straight ahead with these silent tears running down her face.
Malachi will approach her. And he'll just stand, a foot or two away from her and look her straight in the eyes. We found your daughter's body in the marsh. Nearby.
She's not looking you in the eyes at first. She's looking down.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you say that, probably after about a 5-second count, she looks up and looks you in the eyes. That's good. I'm glad you found her.
It's good that your daughter's dead.
I'm sorry, what?
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm glad you found her. I was very worried.
He's gonna, furrow his brow and, cock his head kind of to the side. She's dead.
And you don't seem to care.
Of course I care. What do you want me to do? Break down and cry? My dad raised me to be a strong woman, and I am.
He looks over to the grandfather. Is he emotionally distraught?
He doesn't look all there. He looks reminiscent of somebody who's just zoned the fuck out and is not mentally there right now.
Mm-hmm.
People are talking to him and his eyes, he's barely even blinking. But you can see his eyes are red. So he is trying to hold back.
Mm-hmm.
But, you've seen men act like this probably several times.
Yeah.
The grandmother ain't holding back.
Malachi just shakes his head and goes back to the guard captain. I know there's not a lot of consequential evidence, but I have reason to believe that the mother is responsible.
The guard captain stops talking and fidgeting, and he looks at you. That is a strong accusation.
We've searched into the nanny, and there's no evidence that such a person ever existed. Outside of the nanny, nobody has seen or communicated or even had contact with the child before or after its apparent death, other than the mother. It does not leave many options for who could be responsible.
And even if the daughter was with a nanny at any time, especially for the supposed long period of time that she's been missing, I'm sure someone would have seen her with a nanny.
He is thinking, but he just kind of sighs. Her dad is very important. We can't just go around accusing her of things. If we're wrong, we'll all be executed. Can you get her to say anything that would incriminate her or make her admit what has happened?
Malachi glances to Kiriki.
Torture is acceptable.
Why are you looking at me?
You're the best equipped. We need an answer, one way or another.
I will do my best, I guess. Is the girl still standing there?
Yeah, she's kind of just standing right outside the villa, and there's guards like all around. And the grandparents are kind of in front of her, to her left a little bit. Both of them have their backs to her, so they can't really see her. But she's kind of just staring straight ahead, looking around every now and then, looking down every now and then. But she does have like silent tears going down her cheeks.
Okay.
I will go with you. Perhaps we can work together.
Kiriki is gonna like put her hand on the mom's the I don't know her name. Not the grandma, but the mom's shoulder. We should talk inside.
Cassandra's. But she says, I don't want to say anything to you.
That wasn't the request. And Kiriki will grip in her shoulder and like guide her inside.
Just to see how well she goes along with this, will you do an intimidation check?
Sure.
Strength or
Malachi-
charisma?
Great.
Malachi will provide the help action.
Oh, how?
He grabs the other side of her shoulder and starts to push it along with her.
I mean, that is literally helping, so yeah.
And you said I can use, because intimidation not being a part of charisma is so silly. What stat were we able to use?
Strength.
Okay.
Because it doesn't fucking make sense.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but a large barbarian should be allowed to intimidate people.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
20. I
She
didn't
follows
even
you.
roll- I was like, I didn't even roll with advantage. Hold on. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
get
see
it.
if that's a
scarier.
natural 20.
No, it's a 20.
Wow, no wonder you never use your inspiration. So yeah, she like after you like use that tone with her, and he grabs her other arm. She looks at both of you and then looks you in the eyes. Fine, and then she goes with you as if she has a choice.
Cool. Let's take her inside and sit her down in a dimly lit room.
Okay. You take her into one of the side chambers where it looks like just like a meeting room of sorts, but there's a lot of drapes over the windows to where it looks like a lot of people don't really want to have their conversations in here listened to. So it is fairly dark in here, but you can see there are lanterns around if you wanted to light them, or candles.
Kiriki is gonna drag one of her scimitars out slowly, but also like intimidatingly. Yeah. And then she'll like put the very tip of it to the girl's neck. You know, your story's not adding up.
It's not a story if it's the truth.
No, it's not adding up. So you were supposed to go on a business trip, yes?
Yes.
And take your daughter with you.
Yes.
And then you left your daughter with a nanny and then disappeared for 20 days.
About that, yeah. What's the problem?
Weren't you supposed to be gone on the trip? You were in town, fraternizing with a boy.
I lost track of time. We
For
were
20
really
days?
high. We were really, really high.
For 20 days.
Really, 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 really high.
Malachi?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't believe for a single moment that you really left your daughter with a nanny. And I don't believe for a single moment that you understand the weight of the consequences of your negligent actions.
And what do you believe?
I believe you're, first and foremost, a terrible mother. And I believe, secondly, that you're a murderer.
Her eyes get wide, and then they kind of narrow in anger. I am a great mother. I love my daughter. And you will never understand what that's like because you will never be a mother. You don't even have children. Nobody would want to have children with you.
Okay.
Malachi just is like staring blankly at her, expressionless.
Was that supposed to hurt our feelings?
Yeah?
It didn't.
Your deflections are lost on me. I've heard far worse insults. Honestly, it's pathetic that you even attempt such a disgraceful rebuttal. If you truly loved your daughter, why did you leave her to have relations with a man for 20 days without even checking on her?
I lost track of time. It doesn't make me a bad mother or a murderer.
It does make you a bad mother, and I have strong suspicion that it'll make you, at the very least, responsible for the negligent death of your daughter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
Sorry.
because you're stupid. Malachi kind of turns, scratches his head a little bit. He's very, very frustrated with this person. I need a confession. We found the body. We found the cart. They're all here, around your home. The abode that you claimed the nanny lived at wasn't lived in for 6 months. Nobody, aside from the people you've talked to about her, know who this nanny is or have ever seen her. The facts are pointing at you. You can deny it and tell yourself lies all you want. But when it all comes down to the truth, you are responsible for your daughter's death. Admit it.
She leans forward and looks you in the eyes. I don't know what you are talking about.
Oh, I have a quick question. Is it just them in the room, just Kiriki and Malachi?
You could have
I
followed.
mean, you
Okay,
control your
I was-
character. You can do whatever you want.
I was gonna
Ish.
say if Eldora could like slip into the room, just for inciting, to see if she's lying.
Malachi is done trying to incite this lady because it hasn't proven very useful for him. But I will say, Aldora slips in the room, and he picks, like, right as he, like, grabs the edge of a chair and just hucks it across the room, slams his fist into the table. No more! Confess! You don't have a choice anymore.
It startles her a lot, but she doesn't say a word.
Yeah, Aldor, if you want to do an insight check, you can feel free.
Well, I mean, I could try an insight check, but I don't think there's anything I'm really going to be able to figure out the timing that I had come in.
Are you trying to incide whether she's being quiet?
If she's still trying to hide something, like if it's in her eyes, if she's trying to hide it still.
I'll give you that one for free. Yup. What are you going to say, Becca?
Kiriki's gonna pull Malachi to the side. You know,
Good cop, bad cop.
you know death. I know death. We could, and she's whispering to Malachi.
Mhm.
Convince her that when she dies, hell will not be gentle.
Ooh. Roll stealth check, Kiriki.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I forgot who I'm talking to. Never mind.
I was
No,
about
I'm
to say.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. You might not won.
Uh,
She pulls him aside. You and I both know death!
23.
Oh, yeah. She will never hear that. Okay. So
Okay,
you're
just
quiet.
gives her a nod.
Aldora, you see this lady watching her, and you wanted to roll an insight. Go ahead.
Okie dokie. 18.
Okay. So you see that Kiriki has a sword out. And Malachi looks like he's about to lose his shit. So when Kiriki pulls Malachi away and she starts whispering, you see this lady visibly nervous. She does look worried. And she does look a little bit afraid. But when she looks back at you and she sees that you're looking, she kind of like composes herself and hides it, more or less.
She'll look at the lady. Why are you so nervous?
I'm hungry.
Hunger doesn't really bring that kind of expression. I would say there's something else that's on your mind.
I'm just worried, that's all. I mean, you're in here yelling at me. Imagine what's going to happen to you when my daddy finds out. You're all going to jail.
She looks over at Kiriki and Malachi and then back at her. I would worry more about yourself than really us or any other things right now.
Has it been, I think that we've established this, but I wanted to double check. Has it been established that our, like, real world powers do not work here in this reality?
It depends on what they are. Like, Kiriki's magic works because she was taught it, and it's in her mind. Mm-hmm. But she can't climb walls because it's part of her physiology.
Right.
So, as long as it's not something that you need your genetics for,
mm-hmm.
then...
So straight shooting, could Malachi use his Speaks with the Dead ability?
I don't see why not, yeah. That seems like something you were taught. I wasn't born knowing how to speak with the dead.
Fair enough.
Hold on. I think there's a time limit on it. I'm looking that up before we continue.
Oh yeah. You're right. Actually, I think it is. Hold on. Let me take a look.
Yeah, it's 10 days.
10 days. Okay, never mind. That won't work. So close. Anyways,
I was worried. That helps.
Yeah. So Malachi's gonna give her a nod to their original plan and go back to the woman. I'm going to be very clear because I have reached the end of my patience with you. It is a fact that you, one way or another, are responsible for the death of your daughter. Do you know where murderers go when they die?
I wouldn't know because I'm not one. But why don't you tell me, because I'm sure you have experience.
I have more experience than you could ever know. Murderers go across the river Styx to meet with Hades. And do you know what happens to souls who are found to be corrupted? And what Hades does with those souls?
She just slowly shakes her head.
Centuries and millennia of torment. Your flesh slowly peeled away, inch by inch, by demons and spirits that will torture your soul and then rebuild it and do it all over again for the rest of eternity in the deepest bowels of the underworld. And he's gonna look at her, and I have the Haunted One feature, Heart of Darkness. Those who look into your eyes can see that you have faced unimaginable horror and that you are no stranger to darkness. Though they might fear you, commoners will extend you every courtesy and do their utmost to help you. Unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them, they will even take up arms to fight alongside you, should you find yourself facing an enemy alone. I just want to use this as a way to kind of thematically enhance this intimidation. Basically, he's going to look her in the eyes, and if she looks him in the eyes, she just can see the images of what he just described to her playing back in his eyes.
I don't even know if you should roll, but let's just do it anyway. Roll an intimidation check with advantage.
The roll is a 20.
Okay. I'm not going to answer you. Instead, I'm going to tell Andrak about what happens outside. Andrak is out there with the captain of the guards, and he's just kind of taking surveillance and taking stock of everything and everybody and kind of just looking around when he hears this blood-curdling scream from inside the villa. Everybody hears it. The grandmother and the mother are just standing there, and she stops crying, and he kind of stops zoning out for a second. They all turn around and look. The captain and everybody starts running inside. Andrak, being the short but agile one, would get in there first. And he walks in there to see this lady, this around the 20s lady, crying and sobbing. I don't know what word that was, but sobbing. And Kuriki and Malachi and Adora have the confession that they needed in a scared way.
Malachi, did the guard captain come in as well?
Yeah, he comes in behind Andrak. What's going on here?
She has confessed to the murder.
She's just nodding frantically, crying. Her eyes are red. Fear has taken her over her. Her skin is pale. He kind of turns around. Everybody, hey, get the fuck out! Everybody, get out! He pulls Malachi. He pulls you aside, kind of just grabbing your armor and the tunic of your armor. Mm-hmm. Your job was to watch over her. You abandoned that job in order to hunt down an investigation and you were never a part of. You went down and you did your own thing. You left her alone, unlike what you were supposed to do. And you went on some kind of hunch or an investigation that you weren't even supposed to be doing. And you solved the whole thing. Good job, kid.
This family deserves peace. I facilitated that.
You're all right in my book.
Arrest her. Tell the grandparents what happened. Our job here is done.
He kind of looks over your shoulder. Stand up, bitch. You're under arrest.
What did Andrak say?
I thought the grandparents ran in with us.
Yeah, they were kind of in the back of everybody, but the guard captain kind of kept them a little bit out of view after seeing the daughter was the one who screamed. But Andrak can push them outside if he wants. Like, get out of here.
Nah, he doesn't care enough.
Short track. Sorry.
Tiny drag.
Tiny drag. Little guy.
Tiny drag. All right.
So, does that initiate the transferal out of this place?
You see her arrested. You see her walked out of the building. She's like still pale. She looks afraid, like deathly afraid. She's not talking. She's only nodding. And as she leaves the building, you close your eyes and you look up and you reopen your eyes and you're not back in the Temple of Hades yet. You just kind of like close your eyes again. You're just not back yet. I don't know what the fuck.
Malachi looks confused as fuck. And that's it. He doesn't know where to go from here. He kind of looks around the room, looks at the other party members. That should have been it.
It does not seem to have worked.
Well, I can see that, Andrak, but why? Why didn't it work?
Maybe there's more to this. Did you ask if she had any assistance in this matter?
Malachi sits down in like a chair or a sofa or something like that and just puts his face in his hands. Just runs his fingers through his hair. He looks so exacerbated by this whole dilemma.
And as you run your fingers through your hair, you sigh and you find yourself in the cavern once again.
Oh. He takes the mask off that he was wearing. I assume it's adopted the same properties as the other one.
Yep.
Okay.
Dark vision, +2 to saving throws.
Pulls it off, kind of sets it wearily on the altar for a moment, looks around. The spirits feel at peace.
You do feel better, and you find yourself in this kind of round cave, naturally formed room again. Just as a reminder, it is a mostly circle. It is about 65 feet wide, about 100 feet long. This one's bigger than the first one you went into. There is 2 altars here with a row of benches in between them. There's an altar on each side of the wall. And Kiriki, Aldora, and Andrak and Malachi are in there. And then towards the entrance to his room, you can see coming through the cave, which, if y'all remember, is about 15, 20 feet wide. You do see Palace walking up. And then you can see there are many hanging lanterns, candelabras on the walls here that have just been kind of chained and nailed into the wall. But there's this light blue mist slowly rolling across the ground here that just kind of stays there in a good old stereotypical Hades creepy way.
I will admit this work is a lot more involved than I'm used to. He picks up the mask and kind of looks it over again, looks at the rest of the party. Once the spirits were sated, these masks have properties that could help protect you against certain things, magically and or physically. If you would like to take one for your own possession, they could be of use to you. He's just like holding it out in front of him if anybody wants to take one. He's got 2 now.
I will side
Andrak
note.
will grab one.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
He doesn't know about the dark vision part, so
Oh, nobody mentioned it?
nobody mentioned it to him. So he's just gonna.
The thing is, Malachi has dark vision now. So he
Oh, that's
doesn't
funny.
know that the mask gives him dark vision.
Wait, what did Kiriki say last time? I forgot. But I think she mentioned all of it, didn't she?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So yeah, he'll hand it, and as Andrak's taking it, he'll kind of look at him and say, "Oh, and this will probably help you see a bit better as well in the dark." Kiriki mentioned that earlier with the last mask.
Oh, I did not realize that that was a thing that could be done.
Yes, I believe. He kind of looks over at Aldora and picks up the second mask. For you as well, Aldora. I don't know if you're actually capable of seeing beyond using your light. But if we need to remain hidden in the darkness, this will allow you to see in it.
I can see it fine, but I'll take it because it could still be useful. Thank you.
Yeah, Malachi, he only found the 2 so far, so he hands one off to Andrak and one to Aldora. He doesn't keep one for himself. And then does it appear like that has done it for the temple, or is there more to go?
I mean, you are in one room of a hallway that has branched off, and so there's probably more to it. But you guys, so the first little bit of it that you were traveling through, Palace was not there, but as you come to, you almost feel like you were in kind of a trance or asleep, and Palace is watching you. And so as you look towards the entrance of this little hallway, you do see her standing there, and just as like a kind of reminder, she has like the purplish skin with like the kind of tealish looking hair that starts at teal hair and then kind of ends in what looks like almost dripping water. And she has this liquid that comes off her swords during combat. And most of y'all know that she's the granddaughter of Poseidon, daughter of Triton. She has like the black leather armor on that almost mimics like a corset, but not quite as pushy, if you know what I'm saying. She has black pants on, leather belt, leather pouches. She does carry 2 swords, and she has like teal tattoos, markings that are celestial about her, and she has these glowing teal eyes. But she is standing there, almost combat ready, but just looking and kind of watching over you guys as you might have been sleeping. or tranced or whatever that was. I mean, you weren't here, so you don't know.
Alice. I didn't notice you over there. Were you watching over us this whole time?
Oh, good. You're awake. Yes, I've been protecting, watching over, making sure that nothing happened while you were in your trance.
I see. You weren't pulled into it like the rest of us.
No, I didn't wear a mask or go in. I just wanted to make sure that you all were protected on your journey.
Malachi's gonna look at the group. I'm going to say this. Thank you all for doing this. Obviously, you're not required to continue on with me as I attempt to purify this sanctum. I have a suspicion there's more to come. You're all free to continue along the other journey that we started before this. You're not required to stay here. I am. I just want to put that out there, because we've been through 2 of these sequences now, and I anticipate more to come.
This will be a lot to deal with, but I am not going to leave you here alone.
I will side note something. The demon outside did tell you that all your priests were dead, and the temple belonged to the demons now, and you haven't found a pile of priests yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that going through here, you are going to run into some opposition.
Mm-hmm. He'll look at Andrak and give him he's gonna like jut his chin out, kind of give him a dude nod, you know?
Andrak will give a gentle nod. If this mask assists in seeing in the dark, it will be useful. I'll take that as aid then.
Garriki, Aldora, Alice.
I will absolutely join you. We're sharing a common goal here. You have my sword.
I'm always still here.
I have nothing else going on.
Most Garriki answer.
I'm off today, why not?
She really doesn't have anything else going on.
We have no lead on hunting down our next group of demons. And clearing
Maybe
out the
this will give
temple
us
of a
one.
god. Yeah. Clearing out the temple of a god isn't a bad idea.
I should also emphasize that although Hades remains neutral on most things, there could be a great benefit in getting his aid should this prove to honor him. Clearing these demons and their filth from this temple could certainly put us in a good light.
It is
Neutrality.
never a bad idea.
Neutrality can be swayed in a direction.
And a dead demon's a good demon.
Yeah, so with everybody's wonderful support, Malachi is going to press on into the deeper parts of this temple.
Okay.
Or in hand, Andrak will don the mask, though.
Yeah, so I'm assuming a little bit for Andrak, it's kind of like taking your first pair of binoculars up and down, because it's like you can see kind of fine, and you can see colors in this room with the lit candles on the wall and the torches and everything. But then you put the mask on, and you could see perfectly clear, but there's no color. It's like gray. So it's like color on, color off, color on, color off. And then you turn around and you look down the hallway where there is no light, and you can see the far wall. Color off. But you could see it. And then Aldora, she did have the light spell still on her. I think it's an hour, right?
Let me double check. Yeah, it's 1 hour.
Alright, so yeah, it's still on her. But you guys, if you want to go back down this hallway, like I said, it is about 20 feet long. And then only about 40 to 45 feet down out of this room is where it would kind of become an elbow and curve off to the right. You go down to the end of that little hallway, and that's where it tees off. And you came from the left. But if you head to the right, that is an area you have not been yet. And that is a hallway that, and again, this is naturally formed caves, so it varies from being 15 feet all the way to being 30 feet thick. But it's not that far before it opens up into a room. It's only about a 60, 65 feet stretch of hallway before it opens up into a room full of pillars.
Any altars in this room?
Where the fuck is everyone going?
They're going towards the main temple. Alright, so while you guys catch up... Oh wait, Andrak, hold on. Let me give you dark vision real quick. Let me know if you take the mask off, though, because then I gotta take it back away.
Ollie.
He is
I thought we were
taking
all in
off
this
the.
together.
He's taking off the faceplate of his helmet and swapping it out with the mask, so
Alright.
he can wear his damn helmet.
Alright, so now we're past this weird shit. Alright, so as you guys approach this room with all the columns in it, they almost seem like they're in rows. As you go across, most all of them are about 10 feet apart from each other, or 15 feet, depends on which direction they're going. You can see there are candlestick slabs and stands. There is an altar that has been broken in the middle of this room, away from the entrance, that you can see. And there is a large brazier in the middle of the room. There are many rows of benches, stone benches, towards the middle of this room. It is a large room. This room is roughly 170 fucking feet wide and about 140 feet long. You cannot see the other side of the room, or I guess you can because it's decently lit. I don't know. You have to let me know. But in the middle of this room, there's a few things that are a little fucking strange. One, you see a very large demon. He has horns. He has this kind of brown tan skin, white glowing eyes. He carries a very large mallet that is probably about the size of Aldora. And he's got these large fists and forearms, almost reminiscent of a gorilla. He wears some furs instead of armor. Has a cute little earring in his ear. But other than that, he's just a big, dumb brute. The other guys that are around him, they look decently reminiscent of demons that Kuriki has seen probably several times before. They have kind of like a rock-looking skin. It's gray. They have spikes pretty much lining their entire body. They range from between 6 and 7 feet. They are very strong, but they're a lot of times the very blunt force of the demons as they go into somewhere new. These guys run in there and they either die or they plow through. These are what would almost be like the blunt instrument of the demon army. So that's why Kiriki has seen them quite a few times before. And probably Andrak has spotted them. He would go toe-to-toe with these guys because they're big, he's big. It's his thing. They also carry these like large swords that are made out of rocks that have been broken off and just had a handle strapped to them. And next to this big guy with the horns and the brown skin, there is a demon on the floor who looks like he has the bottom half of a robed figure in its mouth. It's almost a humanoid-esque form with translucent skin, but at the same time, it's eating this robed figure like it's a snake. Like he has his whole body in his mouth, and his mouth is extended. And he is just devouring him. And it's hard to really tell what the fuck is going on there. And then a little bit ahead and to the left, you see what looks like the upper half of a human laying on a bench with one of these large brute demons beside the bench. And the guy almost looks like he's alive. You can see small amounts of movement. So, as weird as that is, he is there. He is alive. Let's roll some initiative next week.